Hey there, in this video I'll be showing you how the new clay feature to save multiple columns can save you a ton of time when you're building workflows, especially when a lot of those workflows are just like the same flow that you need, but just maybe in a slightly different context because you're building a custom table. So yeah, I just want to show you how to start using that, and then as well do a fun little comparison of how the old method of doing it manually would typically take, and then with this new sort of update, what it looks like and how quickly you can get a table up and running in comparison. So without further ado, let's get right into it. For you, this will just be a fast forwarded little section to this video, but I'll be building a full table from start to finish, and then we'll be comparing it after. So yeah, let's start off, find people. We'll just make this a super basic sort of table because we do not want, cool, we'll go owner, job titles to include founder, cool. Company attributes, we will go, sure, airlines. This doesn't really matter. Like, this is really just to sort of get a list of humans. Founders, cool. Yeah, that's good enough for me. And then we'll just put a limit of, we want 50 people for this, and we will import into a new table. All right, so perfect. So this is what you would typically have as like a start of a table, right? Except you would have put whatever filter in that you're looking for. You do get quite a bit of data on these companies, but as you can notice, like, we need to clean up these company names. We need to clean up some of these first names, like for example, this Jacobus right here. What else? We need to also check if we can find company domains for the missing ones. And then as well, make sure, like, we have to find these people's emails. We have to make sure they're valid, and then we as well at the end want to import these companies into an email sequencer. So yeah, so this is where the fast forward will start, and you will see me at the end of this. All right, I think we're at a good spot now. So as you can see, it took me maybe 25 minutes, right, to build this entire float, and it's nothing really too complex. Like, all that really went into it. So we cleaned up the company name, first names and last names. So yeah, looked up the clear bit, got that domain, and then as well, we just wanted to do like just a simple sort of ICP verification, because I really do think it plays a big part in getting good results with cold email. So making sure that ICP is something that you're looking for. Didn't do anything too complex. So best practice is probably breaking this up into two prompts. So the first prompt being company analysis, where you just sort of say, hey, tell me everything you know about this company. And then having another prompt just analyze that information. So this is what that looks like. And here I just said super basic info. I just said I want it to be software related and I want it to be B2B. And then if it's not that, exclude it. So that's kind of the the entire flow. And then if yes, we want to sort of give us the rest of the info we can find on Lead Magic, just because it's a really great tool. Then we normalize those domain names, or sorry, those company names, get the employee count, description, the industry, and then we run a simple waterfall where right now there's just two data sources, and it's data source and then validate the email. And then here I found it in the first step, so we're good. And then from there, if we find that email, we want to just quickly double check if they still actually work at that company. So doing a quick find if they still work here prompt, and it's for, I think that's less, like 1/100 of a penny, something like that. For extremely cheap, we're able to find those using 20min mini, and here's what that prompt looks like. And then from there, if they are still working there, quickly clean up the names. And then if everything goes according to plan from there, and everything sort of like, we did find an email, they are still working there, the company's ICP. Then at that point, I just put this as like a sort of a template of like just creating it into Email Bison, but ideally you could just put this into a campaign or whatever you're looking for. But yeah, so big picture, like this took a lot of time to put together for something that's very, like relatively very simple to build. So what we could have done instead, which would have been a huge time saver, is have a template of everything that I just did in that. So the first time you do it, of course, it'll take more time, but so here's how you would create a template out of this. You'd select the first one, like the first sort of part of that workflow. And I did build it in a way where there's no enrichments prior to this, and just built it sort of linear. Like I would have built this campaign differently internally, but I just want to sort of show the context or the concept of this. So select everything here and then right click, and then you can do a group save as template, and then we can call this like whatever you sort of want to have this for yourself, but we can just call this like basic enrichment flow. So then now we're just quickly going over all of these. And then create template. So now we have that template. And then now I'll show you. So if we were to create another table, or like another find people, we'll try to, I forget what I searched for, but I remember airlines. Where was that? Airlines and aviation. I think I did like, that doesn't really matter. And I just did founders, which as well doesn't really matter. But this is really just the airline. And then we don't even need 50 people, like 20 is fine. Cool, import to new table. All right, perfect. So here, yeah, we'd be back at that same step, add column, add enrichment, you'd go into templates, and then you can just select you. For whatever reason, these sort of appear at the bottom of your, because it's like a workflow thing. So you go there, you would import, you're sort of just a column mapping. So that's all you do just to get it started. Company domain, let me see, your company domains input, location doesn't really matter. And then first name input, and then last name input, job title, and then just make sure all your API keys are connected, because this would cost credits if they weren't. So looking good. All right, cool. And then we'll just do run first 10. And boom, in seconds, like you get your entire workflow back. And this is really useful, especially when you're building like custom tables. So like, especially when you're scraping data from more like ambiguous data sources, like you might only get domains, you might only get maybe like LinkedIn profiles, or like whatever. Like sometimes you're limited with like the type of data that you can actually scrape. If you have these like workflows set up just one time, for like moving forward, you never have to rebuild all of this sort of individual stuff just to launch a campaign. And really one of the benefits, and to be fair, like you would have to update, in this case, the verify ICP prompt just to make sure it matches what you're looking to scrape. But let's say you weren't even filtering for ICP. You could just remove that and then run the rest of the flow. You always get sort of the validation, or like the emails that you want to find. You always double check if they work there. You always clean their names. And then here, this was just auto running, but we can have this, like we don't need to include this, right? Because if that's the only step that's left for us to do is just importing this, super easy for us to handle that. But yeah, so really, really cool new feature that Clay came out with. Haven't seen a lot of videos about this online, so just wanted to sort of showcase it, because I think it's a huge time saver and honestly something that everybody should implement into their workflows. So yeah, so that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.